Welcome to A View from the Summit, where we explore the unique relationship between humans and animals. Whether it's an Olympic partner or couch buddy, a working companion or unique pet, a world champion or someone you think the world of. Join us for a look at animals in our lives. Brought to you by Summit Animal Health. Welcome, everybody, to View from the Summit. My name is Steve Searcy, and I'm your co-host. And the other part of the co-host is usually in the saddle, working on her cattle ranch or doing some fun family activity on a horse. But today, she is cowgirl in the car. Robin Benson.
Hey, Steve, nice to see you. It's great to be here. And I am in the car because life happens on the ranch and sometimes it's loud and you have to find a place where you can still get Wi-Fi and have some quiet. So here we are in the car. But I'm really excited today to get to visit with Will Simpson. And this is going to be a really fun episode. If you are listening or watching on YouTube, remember to subscribe because we bring you fun episodes every week. So Will, I'm getting to meet you for the first time today, as well as our listeners and viewers. So share a little bit about where you're coming to us from today, about you, and we're excited to dive in.
Sounds great. Happy to be here. We're just in transit. We just did a show up in Saugerties, New York. Had a really good time up there. The showgrounds. Been there a time or two before, and it's really getting improved. The footing was excellent. The atmosphere was really good. So kudos to those guys for having such a great show and really stepping up with the facility. I mean, these days the facilities that we have are so incredible. So everybody has to kind of step up. They've raised the bar. So they're stepping right up. So that was a lot of fun. So now we're in transit. We're on our way. We're here in Lexington, Kentucky. We're going to be here for 4 weeks. This is a layover week, so it's really nice because I got the time to talk to you because I'm usually in the saddle, and so we're just kind of letting the horses rest a little bit and getting ready for another 3 weeks of showing here in Lexington.
Perfect. Awesome. So if you're just listening and you don't know who Will is, you ride show jumpers, right? And show jumpers are really big, beautiful horses that jump over really big, beautiful jumps, right? So tell us a little bit, just explain to people a little bit about show jumping and the level at which you do it.
Well, show jumping is a specialized sport of equestrian. So as riders, we all have to kind of get on our horse and get their feet to move in the direction we want with rein and leg aids and stuff like that. And then for us, we specialize in jumping. So we jump relatively big jumps. We jump up. Everything's in meters these days. So it's meter 60. And it's about 5'6", maybe 6 foot. Courses of those. So like 18, 20 jumps like that in intricate little patterns. And that's how we score the competition. If you knock it down, it's not good. If you stop, it's not good. But usually the course designers put riding tests where you have to lengthen your horse's stride, shorten your horse's stride in quick little increments. So that's the hard part of the sport. So I signed up to be a jumper rider, and then I found out it's 90% flat work, just like it is in all equestrian sports. But thank God we love horses.
So I grew up riding. It's funny you say that. So I grew up riding 3-day event horses. I now ride. We rope and we rodeo, and I have a ranch. But we always used to say we do the dressage so we get to go cross country because we love to go fast and jump over big things. But like you say, flat work. So I love it.
Yeah, that's the deal.
Takeoff and landings. Takeoff and landings. That's what it's.
Yeah.
Well, Will, you of course are known for a particular gold medal that you won in the Olympics. And I have no idea what that would be like, but would you try to set that up and share with us what that ride was like from starting out the first jump and just kind of relive it for us?
Well, the ride starts, if you will, about 9 months before the Olympics. To have the idea to qualify for the Olympic team was just an amazing thing right there, and then to go to the trials, and then to participate, in Europe and do shows over there, which further qualified to get to the Olympics, and then to finally get to the Olympics, and all the other countries are there, all your heroes are there, and now you're there, and then we do the first competition. It takes four competitions basically to get to the medal at the end, and so you realize that your horses are jumping great, and you can actually not just get to the Olympics and participate, but actually have a chance to bring home a medal, and that was an amazing feeling that came over the team at the time. So that was an amazing thing, and then as it went, um, McLean Ward, Beezy Madden, and Laura Kraut all were in top form, and we had the amazing week there. And then all of a sudden it came down to I was going in the ring to the jump off, and McLean and the coach George Morris came out and said, "Hey, Will, all you got to do is go clear, and we win gold." And that's quite a statement when you're talking about big jumps and the big stage and the whole everything. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll just and then I got to go in there, and my horse was jumping great. I had a lot of confidence in him, and I've been kind of dreaming about that big stage my whole life, and so went in and jumped the clear round, and the announcer said gold for the U.S. And that was an amazing moment in my career, to have everything all come together at that moment. So that was quite a moment, quite a thrill.
Well, telling you that before your jump, what pressure you were under? How were you able, just did you focus jump to jump? How did you do that? How did you live with
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah. Well, in their minds, they were alleviating the pressure. They were saying you don't have to go fast, you just have to go clear, and we win gold. And that's it's fine if if you're jumping medium sized jumps, but you're jumping maximum height. Anything could happen in any moment, and you've got an animal for a partner. uh Nobody told him, so I've got to kind of tell him that, now is the time to not drop a toe on a jump and that kind of thing. But they were trying to comfort me at that moment, but it actually was not comforting at all. It was a little bit like, oh my God, that's quite a feat we have in store. But I don't know. It was confidence in my horse, and the jump off is my favorite part of the whole uh, show jumping thing. So I just said, hey, now's the time. Let's go out and do it. Let's go out and do our best, and we got it done.
That's
That-
awesome. So tell us about your horse that you did it with, because he had
It's
to be something pretty special. How old is he? What's he like? How long have you had him?
Yeah, actually, he's right down the road here. I'm going to go see him later today. I haven't seen him in a while, but he's Carlson from Doc. He's a Holsteiner by Cassini one. He's half thoroughbred. Very very light horse. It was really hot there in Hong Kong where we were jumping, so we wanted light horses as a rule, so to deal with the elements. And he wasn't very big. He was 16.2, not big as far as that goes. But he had uh, springs in his legs, that we say. He could really jump, and he kind of knew, careful, knew the job, to jump the jump and not knock him down. So he was smart that way. He was very sensitive, very temperamental. So you had to kind of keep him encouraged and keep him, not force him to do anything, but kind of go his way a little bit and keep his confidence level high. So that was my job as we went through the trials and the actual jumping there in Hong Kong and everything, to keep him comfortable and in the game, and not get him too excited, overface it all, which was kind of hard to do with the big jumps that were. But anyway, that was kind of his personality, little touchy here and there. So that was
How,
the
how
goal,
did
is to
you
keep him comfortable.
how did you encourage him? What do you do to encourage an animal like that?
Well, it mostly in the daily training, and well, we didn't want to overface him, didn't want to jump him very big often. Kind of just step by step, just got him kind of ready at that moment. We couldn't test the waters, couldn't jump big, huge tracks, without taking his heart away. So it was just a matter of building the stepping stones to get him so that he was ready on that day to perform, and without getting them discouraged or sore or all of those things. So that was kind of the unknown. We kind of had an idea that we were going to peak at the right time, but step by step, in we were over in Holland, and we were gone basically 9 months from home. So you're all in a different place, different venues, and trying to keep your horse confident and ready to do the job without really doing the job until you get there. So that was kind of the strategic plan that
Was,
came through.
is he younger? Was this kind of his first trip and cycle in the international big competition, or is he a veteran of this kind of jumping?
No, he was this was his first shot, basically the trials. We brought him up, and he we were showing in Europe, and he was doing better and better. And we had one show where he was second in 4 classes, which is pretty hard to do. So it's a lot of classes jumping a week. He left the ring in the lead, but somebody beat him over every class. But the consistency was showing that he was a horse that could make the team and could go to the trials and was worthy of that. So then that's when we decided to do that. But that was his first shot, really. It was meter 55. It wasn't even meter 60. Where we decided that he had what it took to make the team. So he was, just, this was not a proven thing. He hadn't done it before. We were just saying, we can do this if we stay on track. We can peak at the right time and help to bring home the gold. So that was the strategy and the game plan, which came through. And then he got the job done, and it was just everything came together at the right time, which is kind of a rare thing, really, with horses and the sport like that.
Absolutely. There's so many variables for sure. And obviously your experience and your McLean and the coaches and everybody else working as a team to do it. It's lots and lots of years of experience, right? So have you been doing this from when you were a little kid, or, how did you get started doing these big events?
Well, I started in Illinois. I started when I was 11. My mom found 2-for-1 riding lessons in the paper. I have 3 brothers, 2 sisters. So anything she could do to get us all involved in one place, she jumped at it. So we started. My little sister was much better rider than I was to start, and she kind of took to it, and then I kind of backed up and got involved through her a little more daily. And then I got one good horse when I was 14. She won 8 out of 8 classes at 2 different horse shows. And so that was a real good start for me. Luckily, to get a horse that was that good. So that really gave me a taste of the sport. And I thought it was real easy. I thought, oh geez, this horse, if I but now I can get lots more of them like that. I've been searching for that horse ever since. So but that got me going. And then I got a riding job when I was 14, and my parents said, listen, if you want to ride, we can get you one horse. We got to feed your other brothers and sisters, so we can get you one horse. If you want to ride, this job that you have has 250 horses. So if you want to ride, you have to consider that. So and then they let me do that. They let me follow my dream at 14 years of age. I left home to follow this dream. I always said, "Wow, that was very courageous of you." And they said, "Well, we had five others, so we had five other kids, so wasn't that big a deal." But anyway, I think they were very courageous to let me follow my dream like that, and then it went on from there, and just every step of the way, it was just another. That was in the Midwest. That I tried to go to the East Coast, rode for uh, an acquaintance. I called him up, and I asked Rodney Jenkins, one of the best in the industry. I said, "Hey, any chance I could have a job with you?" He said, "No, I don't have anything." I was like, I should have never called him. What was I thinking? And then anyway, about a week later, he called back. He said, "I do have one thing. You could work for me half a day and a friend of mine half a day." And I jumped at it, and it was cleaning stalls and you know eh, running the barn man. I wanted to ride, but I had to do what I had to do. So anyway, I jumped at it, and then that got me started on the East Coast, and then I got a catch ride and on the West Coast in California, in Arizona, at a horse show. Catch ride in the Grand Prix there, and I luckily won that, so that gave me a little head start on the West Coast. And so then I decided to go out there, and I was out there for 40 years on the West Coast, and then loved it there, and had a great time, great career. West Coast was very good to me, and then now just recently moved to Ocala, Florida. There's a World Equestrian Center there that's amazing, and I live 5 minutes away from the Equestrian Center there, and that's my plan to go and show there, and kind of finish my career out there in Ocala.
Well, I watched a film you were in called Desert Flight,
Right?
and it's if I encourage anybody to watch that documentary because you will get a sense about what this man does. It's pretty incredible. And
Yeah.
you're a great actor.
Well, I don't know about that, but they got a good statement from me. This and that. I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and it took about an hour and so to add talking and lots of coffee at 6 o'clock in the morning. They finally got me to open up about really what it felt like to make the Olympic team and to be part of that whole process. Um, you know, it can be quite emotional, when you actually accomplish something that you have set your mind on for so many years. So anyway, they were a great production team. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So this had been a dream of yours, the Olympic team to be there. Was that a dream?
I mean, I have to, I didn't really admit it at first. I mean, I was just a kid riding around and this and that, and it's an Olympic sport. So in the back of your mind, you go through the scenarios of, you're jumping a fence and you're thinking, I'm in the Olympics. I'm going clear and this and that, so you set up those scenarios to encourage the training and encourage the time in the saddle. And I really didn't share it with a whole lot of people when I first started thinking about those things and everything. It was more of a internal focus, internal dream. I didn't I wasn't brave enough to share it, and lay it out there until really just before we started doing it.
So it is a huge step for you to, have the faith to step out and continue to go, right? And pursue your dreams regardless of obstacles. What would you tell people who have this dream, but maybe they're like you, maybe they're a little hesitant to share it, maybe they don't have anyone they can talk to or feel comfortable sharing it with for support? What would be some tips or nuggets you could share with people, whether it's a horse dream, a dog dream, even other dreams? You've accomplished a dream of a lifetime. What would you share with people about that?
I mean, I think to have those dreams and to live them and work them and put in the effort and really don't talk about it. To keep it a secret. keep it an internal driving force that pushes you to do those things, and then you don't have to back it up, or so to speak, or you don't want to come on the scene like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be there, before you really have the experience and your ducks in a row and your time in the saddle, or your 10,000 hours in your field of expertise. So you want to grind those out quietly, and work hard and do all the necessary steps that lead up to the fact that someday you can say, I'm going to try for the big stage, the Olympic team, or whatever it is, that defines the world championships. I want to be the best pole vaulter in the world. I want to be the best anything, author, or whatever you want to do, with your life, but I think you have to kind of earn your stripes quietly on your way up before you burst out with, this dream that you don't really have the credentials to kind of say. That's how it worked for me, and that's how I think it's the best avenue, to start planning your route, doing the work, doing the homework quietly behind the scenes, and then come out with the dream. Don't
So that's
come
such
out
wise
first.
advice, but give people an idea. We're not going to talk about age. But at 14, you got a job because that you knew you were mucking stalls, you were riding for people, you did what you needed to do. How many years was it that you quietly built your equity in your dream until you actually realized this major goal?
I would say probably 15 or 20 years, where I quietly put it, I wanted to be a good jumper rider, so to speak. And then my focus turned into, I wanted to be a good horseman. Really didn't care about the results as much as I did the quality of the training, and I was interested more in the horsemanship end of it, and the making horses' lives better, and developing techniques and training techniques that can develop the horse faster with less wear and tear on their joints and their legs and things like that. So that changed along the way, and then it was always a little bit in the back of my mind that it'd be nice to go to the Olympics, but I really didn't know if I had the means. I really didn't know if I had if the right horse was going to come along, all of those things. And so basically I was satisfied with being a good rider, being a good competitor, being a good horseman, all those steps along the way. And in fine tuning those, when the right horse did come along, I had all my ducks in a row, and I was ready. And so then we really went for it at that point.
That's eye-opening for people because how many people do we know? I hear it a lot too. I want to do this, I want to get this goal, but how 20 years of work, and most people are like that. They're not overnight appearing on the success stage without doing the work. And training horses the same way, right? So how old is the horse for his first time that you took to the Olympics? How old is that horse?
The horse was 13 years old when he went to the Olympics. So
And it was his first real trip to the big stage, right?
yeah, he hadn't been there and done that before. So that's the nice thing. What I say about this sport, the bad news is that it takes a long time to learn how to do the sport. The good news is you get to do it for a long time.
I love that.
I'm having just as much fun today as when I got started.
Love
And
that.
what horse are you riding now?
Well, I've got a couple of horses that are doing the Grand Prix right now. Choco P is a 14-year-old, and Whoop De Doo is a winning 12-year-old. So those two are the two that I have basically for the Grand Prix, and I have quite a few nice young horses, a couple 8-year-olds that are really coming along strong, and a 7-year-old that's really looking good. So really excited about the new crop coming up after these guys. But in the meantime, they both Whoop De Doo and Choco P have all the talent, and it's about trying to figure out how to get everything to come together at the right time, the rideability, the carefulness. They're both super brave, so that's the easy part. But all of those things, come together, and now that we have all of these wonderful therapies for horses, and access to all of these uh, diagnostic equipment that we didn't have only a decade ago. So now we can really take care of the horses a lot better, and have them last a lot longer. So really excited about all of those things, and thinking that both those two horses, Chocolate P and Whoop De Doo, can come along at any moment now, and peak, and be ready to do some major championship stuff.
I read some stuff about Whoop De Doo, and that sounds like quite a horse.
Yeah. Well, she's a crowd favorite with that name. I mean, the name is great, and she's by a horse named Mr. Whoopi, who was he was a crowd favorite himself. So she comes along it naturally, and when you see her go, she's all try. She gives it everything she can, everything she has, almost on every jump. So that's fun it's fun for me, and it's fun for the fans to watch her go, and get behind her name, all that kind of stuff.
Love that. Well, you mentioned the therapies and the diagnostics, and even earlier when you talked about training for the Olympics and any of these horses, peaking, where it's a lot of wear and tear on their joints and their ligaments, their whole body, right? And so what are some things that you use? Just share with people who are, even if they're not riding at the level you're riding at, if they're jumping, or even if they're trail riding, there's wear and tear on their horses. What are some things that you use that you found very effective? And international competition has some limitations on what you can use, right?
Yeah, yeah. You have to have uh, really good veterinarians that guide you along the way, and training. The footing. It starts with the footing. You have to train on good footing that's going to help your horse come along, and then there's the joint lubricants that you can use that keep the horse comfortable, and not breaking down, but actually getting more and more healthy. Summit Max is what I'm excited about, to bring the horses to their maximum, so I can train them and compete with them, and not have to take long breaks, and this and that. So that keeps me in the ring and keeps me going.
That's great. And now, is Summit Max something you can use even while you're competing internationally?
Yeah, yeah. It's FDI legal, and approved, and it just helps the horse. Doesn't mask anything. It just keeps the horse's joints more and more healthy.
Wow, that's
And you use it
wonderful.
right.
And how did you find Summit Max? What was your first experience with it?
Uh, Thank God I'm friends with Dorian, and he talked to me about it, and showed me it. And then when I used it, I got noticeable results, which is, it's kind of hard for me to believe in something. It's such an emotional thing. You can get addicted to just about anything. But so you want to have something that works, and you really feel a difference when you use it, and then you can really believe it and get behind it, and know that you're doing the best thing for your horse.
So what did you notice in your horse? You said you noticed a really big difference. And these horses, they're performing at such a high level and have the best vets and the best care. What more could you have noticed when you added it?
Uh, First of all, just the better movement on the flat, and then a crisper jump, and just all around better performance. Willing to do the job, wanting to do the job, and doing the job, as good as he can, rather than just going through the motions. So it was night and day improved performance.
that's powerful at your level to get a night. I mean, to me, as a non-Olympic competitor, even to see a night and day difference in a horse that you feel is already doing great, that's a pretty powerful statement. So thank you. That's really, really insightful and interesting for me to hear for sure. So Steve, what can you think? It's been so much fun, Will, visiting with you and getting to know a little bit more about me. For me, I'll share it with you here. As a little kid, riding at the Olympics was always a dream of mine. And I probably am one who's guilty of, I put a lot of effort in, but I didn't stay focused on the one discipline that long. And I, I really love hearing from you and how you stayed hooked. I switched disciplines and, I got distracted, I guess you could say, in different things. It just warms my heart to hear that you did a lot of the same things I can relate to: working, cleaning stalls, jump right, getting on horses in different barns. I rode at Denny Emerson's barn for, with him for a while. And just then you get in your head, right. And you lose the confidence or you get distracted with something else. So I just really appreciate you sharing all the way up to the finish that you did it. You went from start to finish, and that's a huge accomplishment. So huge congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a great ride, and we're working hard to do it again. So that's the whole thing about getting a taste of it. Now you want more, and so that's the wonderful thing about this sport. It can happen again.
Right.
Will, I did read one thing as kind of a last thing. You jumped an incredible height one time. How high did you jump?
Well, two things come to mind. We had, I think when I was 16, in front of 40,000 people at Arlington Park Racetrack, we jumped 7'5", which was quite a day. A lot of people still to this day see me and remember that. And then in Cincinnati, Ohio, we jumped the highest wall ever jumped in competition, 7'9¼ inches, on a horse named Jolly Good. So that was a lot of fun there as well. There was maybe 5,000 people there. It was a College Football Hall of Fame field, and there was no video. It was late at night. We had so many jump offs. It was late at night, and the videographer went home. So all we had was a still picture of it. We actually took a back. It was what was it? It was in the 80s, back in the 80s. So we took an ad out in the paper to see if anybody had a video camera of it, but nobody responded. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. That was jolly good. The funny thing is, we really don't have Puissances anymore. I think we just lost our last one. It was a Washington International Horse Show, and I guess they're not going to have it anymore. People aren't interested in it. It's a tough class on a horse. It's basically jumping their maximum. And if a human wants to do that, that's one thing. They choose to do it. But a horse, they're in our hands, so we really don't want to make them do, their maximum. When we jump a Grand Prix, we want them to do it with ease and do it. They're happy and things like that. So it takes a rare horse to do the Puissance class, the high jump class. And the funny thing is, my horse that I have now, Chaco P, I think he could do it easy. He's a great wall jumper. He jumps in great. He's 18 hands.
Wow.
He jumps in perfect form with his front end. He will never stop. So I think he could do it easy, but my goal is to have him do, a big championship easy. So it's kind of two different ways. But if they came out with a big class, an important class, maybe at one of the big shows or this and that, I think he could do it easy with no problem.
If you jump any higher, you're going to need oxygen. So just keep it a little low.
Yeah. Well, they have oxygen bottles. I can get a little oxygen when I come down.
We have ways of making that happen.
Yeah.
Well,
one day later.
Who knows what will happen with Summit and how high you'll jump in the future. But Will, we certainly appreciate you being with us. Robin, any last words?
Well, Will, we love hearing all this, but if people want to follow your success and your journey as you continue in Florida, how do people keep up with you? You have social media, website?
Social media, Will Simpson Stables. I've got a Facebook page. I'm not really. I do the work. I do the work behind the scenes, but we're out there. We're out there somewhere. We're out there somewhere.
And
Will
what about
Simpson
a
Stable.
website? Do you have a website too, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we like to connect people that way. You know, if they have questions or if they want to watch your success in the future, it's always great to stay connected. So check him out, Will Simpson Stables online, and we will post it in the show notes so that you can follow along with his success. If you have questions for Steve or myself, email Steve at eternapure.com or anyone.
Steve at eternapure.com.
Steve at eternapure.com. And if you have questions or anybody else you'd like to see on the show, and of course, subscribe to this show, this podcast, because every week we come with a new amazing guest. So thank you, Will. Absolutely incredible to share this time with you. Thank you.
My pleasure. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
That
you,
was
Will.
fun.
Thank you, Robin.
Okay.
And thank you, audience. We'll see you next week with a view from the summit.
Thanks for joining us for A View from the Summit. This program is made possible by Summit Animal Health. Check them out online at summitanimals.com. Thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you next week for another View from the Summit.